Hello, hello. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We have a great workshop planned for you. We're of course joined today by our resident NITRO Guru, James Restivo. We have a lot of great things to share with you. He has an overview of the new NITRO features and the new NITRO, the NITRO Road Map, what to expect coming up. So a lot of interesting things, but before we dive into it, I just wanted to cover a couple of housekeeping items. So first of all, we're going to do our best to keep things high level. If you really want to get into specific details about your organization and your configurations, anything like that, we're of course here for you. But if you do have a more general question, feel free to use that question box there on the right side of your screen. And lastly, this will be recorded. So we'll be uploading this to our YouTube channel as well as to our website. So you can always reference this after the fact if you want to go back and hear any of it again. So without any further ado, I think let's go ahead and just jump right into it. James, what do you have for us today?
Thanks, Krista. Yeah, I'll just jump right in and go through what I got for you. I'm going to make myself presenter and share my screen momentarily. Just gonna make sure I get that going. Okay, good. All right, so I got my screen up. And so what we're talking about today, just to give you a lay of the land, we've done a few things in NITRO, but a lot of our development efforts over the last few months have been really focused on the NITRO Help Desk and how we can improve that that application. And one of the things we're really investing in, and I'm sure along with everyone else who's had anything to do touching tech, is AI, of course, right? So we're going to be talking about some AI features in here, but it's not just AI for AI's sake. We're talking about real use cases, real things that our customers can really use on a day-to-day basis, and we really think will help improve their efficiency and your efficiency and help improve your ability to serve your customers. So we're going to focus on those things, and then towards the end of the webinar, I want to talk about our the add-in replacement. That has come up a couple times from some of our customers, and so I just want to put on the record what we're doing, what we've done, and what kind of timeline we're looking at for the add-in replacement. If you're not familiar with that, I will dig into it, so don't worry. I will talk about what that means and what that means for you. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about, and this is something we have in our latest iteration of NITRO Help Desk, and something we can actually add in to existing Help Desk if you don't have it already. And in some of these other AI features as well will be the same way. We have the ability to come in here. Well, not only, well, let me start off with what we have for AI for NITRO Help Desk in general, and just kind of go from there. So you may have seen this, you may have this already, this KB Copilot feature that we have in the help desk, and this is going to be pointing to your specific knowledge base library on your side. So this will be populated with articles that you've created, and your users will be able to enter a prompt, a question, a query, whatever you want to call it. They'll be able to ask their question right in here and get an answer in real time without having to wait for a response on a ticket or a response on and email into the system. So one of the common ones we get sometimes is how do I set up my printer? No, probably a lot of printers are set up, but let's just go with that one for now. And so it's going to think for a minute and come back with an answer. And this, again, this is based on your content. So it's really the answer you're going to get does depend on your content. And of course, this being AI and a generative model, it's going to potentially give us some, you know, not such great information. This one's saying, I'm sorry, I cannot answer this question without more specific information. Well, that makes sense. You want to have more information about that type of printer. How do I set up a new brother printer? Because I know we have an article about that one. All right, so it's going to, again, search that knowledge base and come back with an answer and see what it presents. And then if you ask it enough times, actually in my experience, what I've done is I've asked it the same question a few different times, and eventually it'll give me a response. So it's intended to be looking at your data first and your information first, but it certainly can go and pull information out from the web if needed to get information. So if I asked it about Hewlett-Packard printer, I could ask it a few times. It'll probably tell me I don't have the information you're looking for the first few times, but then if I ask it again, it'll usually give me the information. It's just a little trick there with this. But you see it came back with some information that is coming from an article we have, and there's the knowledge base article right there. So that's going to bring it into the system. But ultimately, if this is not answering the person's question, they don't get an answer, they're going to be able to click a button here called Create Ticket. So if they click the Create Ticket button, you'll get a notification at the top that the operation completed successfully. And now there's going to be a new ticket in the system with the content that came from this conversation. I'll show you that. But the other piece of this, and now that I've just done that, what you'll see is that it will automatically, through the AI features, categorize that ticket for me. So I've been talking about printer. It's probably going to do some kind of like printer categorization. You can see right now it's right here. How do I set up my printer? And just to show you that this is the ticket that came from the Copilot. And you can see there's the string of questions I asked and the string of answers it got back. So all that information goes right into the ticket. So whoever is working this ticket can see that information and respond appropriately and accordingly. Now I'm going to refresh this a couple times because it does take a moment to run, and just a couple minutes, but certainly will run eventually to give it a case ID, and we'll give it a category issue type. Of course, this will probably be the one day that doesn't work. Actually, oh, there it goes. Perfect. Okay. Case ID is assigned as usual, but then along with that, we've gotten some information about the category and issue type. And this is being recorded as a hardware problem with the issue type of other. So that was automatically selected by the AI. And certainly you can go in and make that change. If it doesn't fit the problem, you can go and change what the category and issue type are, but automatically selects that. And does that through some description or information in the category and issue type itself. And that'll be something you can add as well. You can add a little descriptor to each of these categories and issue types, and to give the AI a little more guidance on what it should set, what types of problems coming in should be set for the category and issue type. So that's where we have that connection where, without any human intervention other than the person submitting the ticket and asking the questions, we've got a categorized ticket. And of course, through the features of the help desk, that can be automatically routed to a particular individual or a particular team. So you've got all that just happening automatically, saving you time, saving you effort, so you don't have to do all that. So that's what we're doing there. And that's one of the first things we put out as far as our AI features in our help desk is the auto routing. And of course, the Copilot is there for that. But I did want to talk about some other features that we have coming down on the roadmap that I think you'll find useful for integrating AI into the help desk, into your help desk workflows. And again, this is all intended to be useful for you. So if you don't think it's going to be useful, please let me know. We got the questions box or the comments or the chat. If you're thinking I'll never use that won't be useful, just let me know. That's fine. And it's part of the feedback we get is whether or not it's something we should be developing or not. But one of the things we're going to be looking at adding into this help desk is the AI auto generation of emails. Now, not only do we get this information from the KB Copilot, it gets loaded into the ticket form, but now we could also have it generate it being the AI associated with this help desk, generating a email back to the end user. Now, certainly you could have some control over that where you're going to review what that email looks like before it gets sent, because rarely do we want to just send emails out from the AI without some kind of oversight, although maybe you're comfortable with that and that's fine. You can go ahead and just have it send out the email response to the end user. And that could be coming from a ticket that's submitted via email, it could be a ticket submitted via Copilot, or it could be a ticket submitted directly through the employee portal. Any one of those ways, and then you're going to get a way to auto-generate an email response. Of course, being generative AI, that's one of the key features that it does. One of the other things we're going to be looking at with some AI setup in the help desk is this concept of sentiment analysis. And the whole idea of the sentiment analysis is that we're going to be able to understand, is the customer getting frustrated? Is the customer happy with the service? Is the customer annoyed with the service? Whatever that sentiment is, we can put some kind of scoring around it, and that can help alert your technicians that someone's getting pissed off, angry, frustrated, whatever it is, or you're servicing them in a way that makes them happy. you'll get all that kind of information through the sentiment analysis feature. So that's what we're going to be, another thing we're going to be adding in there, so you get a sense of how that how that person's responding to the service they're getting from your team. And of course, that can all be stored in metrics that can be reviewed. Again, these are on the pipeline, on the roadmap, so we don't have anything to show per se, but just know that we'll have some reporting around that as well, and some analytics. And the idea is that we're looking at the full context of the ticket as well. So it's not just the description field that they initially submit, but it's all subsequent emails, maybe any work logs, and then potentially even any survey responses they've submitted about that ticket when the ticket is said and done. So, and that can be useful on the incoming portion of it also for prioritization. If the incoming content, incoming email, whatever the person puts in the description is, high priority, says that they're very frustrated, can't do business, they're stuck, they can't do anything, they can't do their job, it can automatically prioritize that ticket a little higher than normal. But again, this is all being done, the idea of all this is being done without any human intervention, so that your technicians can focus on things that they need to focus on, which is actually fixing the problems rather than trying to potentially triage all the problems. They can actually just focus on fixing them. Another thing we're going to look at is staff efficiency, reporting around that, response times, response quality. We have some of that information in here, but it's going to be more of an analytical, AI bent to it, so that you can see what's going on with how your staff is attending to the tickets. And so early on, I mentioned about another thing we're going to do. I mentioned about the knowledge base and having your own knowledge base in here, which is important. But one of the things we want to add in here as well is the ability to build a knowledge base automatically based on ticket data. Whereas instead of just looking at a ticket and determining, okay, this should be a knowledge base article, let me go click the button and go edit the article and make sure that it has the information I need and then publish it. It could automatically create that article. You're still going to want to review it, of course, to make sure it's accurate and all that. But the bulk of the content of writing that knowledge base can be done through the AI features. And so those are a few of the things we're looking at on the roadmap as far as coming down the line for the NITRO Help Desk specifically, and some of the features we want to add in there with the AI stuff. So if you find any of that, think any of that's going to be useful for you, certainly let me know. If you think it's not going to be useful, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. But that's just a little peek down the roadmap of what we're doing with the NITRO Help Desk. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of this is going to be able to be added to existing implementations of the help desk, so that we can, as we develop these features, we can come back and add them into what your help desk, your particular implementation of that help desk. Just a peek behind the scenes a little bit as far as what's driving it, and talking about data governance and data security, and that's obviously a big part of the conversation around AI. Everything we're talking about is run through the Azure OpenAI services and cognitive services that Azure has. And the idea is that it would be running through your Azure OpenAI subscription. So we're not looking, Crocanian's not getting any of that data. It's only going through the Azure OpenAI that is there in Azure. Of course, according to Microsoft, if we take them at their word, which I think we should, they're not going to be using any of that data to train their models. So all your information stays within your environment, in your tenancy, and your, between your SharePoint 365 environment and your Azure environment. So all those things are going to be retained within your world, so that you don't have to worry about data exfiltration, security, or anything like that. It's beyond what you'd normally worry about, of course, with your own systems. But it's not like a third party coming in and potentially having your data stored somewhere else. It all stays within your environment. So I just want to give you some insights there as to what we're doing with Azure OpenAI and how it helps your help desk processing, and hopefully helps you retain efficiency or increase your efficiency with using the help desk. So that's what I wanted to cover there. And certainly if there's any questions, you can pop them into the box anytime you want. Always open for an email. But the next thing I wanted to talk about here is kind of outside the help desk piece of it. And maybe I'll just bring up NITRO Studio so that we have something to look at to understand what we're talking about here. Let me pull up in NITRO Studio. Where's the general settings? Apps, here it is. Okay, so you may be aware of the need for, well, you may be aware that Microsoft is retiring add-ins, or has retired add-ins, really. As of July 1st of this year, anything that was considered a SharePoint add-in is not being allowed to be added to new tenants. The existing NITRO Studio they have is going to stay working until 2026, April 2026. And so between now and then, we're going to be pushing a update to Nitro that will allow you to move to what we call the 3.0 version. You'll see it's 3.0 here. So some of you may, if you're newer customers, you probably already have this version. If you've been with us for a while, you probably have the 2.5. Whatever it is, 8.0, I think it is at now. So don't be alarmed. We're going to have a way to get you upgraded well ahead of that April 2026 deadline. So it gives us about 18 months or so, right, to get over to, well, maybe a little less than 18 months to get over to the new NITRO 3.0 version. So we've been doing a lot of work to make that upgrade as seamless as possible. And it's anyone who's using Nitro, whether it's an application or NITRO Studio in general, you're going to need to make this upgrade at some point. But again, it's going to be relatively painless. So with that being said, if there's anyone on this call today who's interested in being part of what we call a beta upgrade group, we'll work with you hand in hand to get you upgraded to the 3.0 version. So if there's any issues, we can roll you back as needed. If you don't want to be part of that program, that's fine. We can wait, and then around the beginning of the new year, what we're going to do is put together all the information needed. We'll have all the documentation available for the upgrade process, and of course the application, whatever code application, whatever call it, package, I guess, that you need to upgrade your sites. We will push that out as well, so you can do it on your own, and there'll be some rollback options on that as well. So you'll be able to get from the Nitro 2.5 add-in version to the 3.0 SPFX non-add-in version fairly easily. I think the last I heard it's about 12-minute upgrade per site, and you can upgrade all the sites within one site collection in one go. And it'll just take about 12 minutes per site within that site collection. So it's not going to be that long of a process, but there will be some downtime during that process. So we're going to want to look at scheduling it in a way that makes sense for your use of the system, so you're not interrupting things that might be already going on. But yeah, that's going to be coming down the line. Again, like I said, we'll probably in the month of December, we'll be able to schedule time with folks who want to work with us to get their sites upgraded to the 3.0 version. Towards the beginning of the year, we're going to start rolling out updates to our customers so that they can take action and get their sites updated to the 3.0 version of Nitro, so they don't have to worry about that drop dead date of April 2026. I think it's April 2nd, 2026. And just FYI, if you don't make the upgrade, it will be, it will stop working. It's the 2.5 version is going to stop working as of April 2026. So I encourage you, if you're, I encourage you to reach out and get, once we push out the package, get updated as soon as you can. But it's that, again, if there's any questions on that, or anyone who's listening to this recording has any questions, certainly reach out and we'll be able to address any concerns you might have about that process. But yeah, so that's really what I wanted to talk about today, the AI features that we're going to be rolling out, the AI features that are there today, and then this add-in model upgrade, how that process is going to work. So thank you all for joining today. I appreciate it, and I'll give you back the rest of your time. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Krista, anything to add?
Just wanted to thank everyone as well for joining us. And if you do have any requests for anything that you'd like to see us cover, any topics for future workshops, we love the feedback. We love to hear from you guys. As James said earlier, we put on these workshops as a value add for you. Our goal is to offer you support, offer you information and resources to help make your life easier. So if there's anything you'd like to see, we would love to hear from you. Don't hesitate to either fill out the survey that goes out after this webinar, or shoot us an email. Let us know what you'd like to see, and we'll certainly keep that in mind.
All right, thanks, Krista. All right, thanks everyone again. Have a great rest of your day.